Guys, welcome to BDD with Cucumber session 3. So in today's session we will learn how to create multiple features file in the same project, how we can create multiple scenario, how we can use scenario outline and example features in Cucumber. So in previous last two sessions you already know, right, how to create multiple scenario, right, as well as the implementation of background feature in case some of the common feature, right, the common step is there. Instead of, right, calling them multiple times in the multiple scenario, we'll be using them in the background features so that like scenario will be less complex, right? Okay, so in a same features file we can have multiple scenario. Scenario will be definitely defined by the, right, given, when and then condition. So given is nothing but the precondition, when is the, right, step we are performing, and then is the outcome or the result we are getting it, right? So in the previous two sessions we have created two scenario where we have given the common step in the background features, and this is my features. Under single feature there can be multiple scenario, right, and whatever undefined step, right, was there, we have tried to define in the step definition file. We have added some body in those method, right. After all the undefined method has been defined in the feature definition step definition file, right, we are creating using a runner class to run all the features file, right, where we will be using run @run with, where you are using cucumber.class, and in the cucumber options we are using the features, right, path of the features file, right. This is the src test java and this is the features package, and the glue is nothing but the path of the step definition folder or the packages. The plugin we are using pretty and monochrome. Then with the help of runner class we are able to create, right, we are able to run the multiple scenario from the single features file, for which the undefined step has been defined in the step definition files, right. You can see the test cases, both the test cases run, and this is the features and these are the scenario, right. So this is the features and this is the scenario, so we are able to run it. Now in today's session we will see how we can add multiple feature file and multiple scenario and the multiple feature as well, right. So in the same feature file, so today we will try to implement, suppose say, in case, right, you are able to navigate to the Facebook page, right. So we will try to enter email and password, and every time we will click on the login button and we will check whether that every permutation combination, in case it is a valid username password, right, we will able to successfully log into the application. In case it is a not valid, right, in case either username or password is not valid, the attempt should be unsuccessful. So we will try to create another features file where we will try to implement multiple scenario. So with the help of you need to right click on the features file, features, whatever package has been created, need to click on the new and then others, right. Here we will go to the file and we select, right, click on the next. Here I can go name that Facebook login dot feature. So that's why we can add multiple features file in the features packages, right. So because we already added the cucumber in our Eclipse, so that is the reason default thing is coming, where you can get the author, right, where you can change your name that you are the author of the particular features, right. We can have the list of scenario in the features. In case we want to have the multiple scenario, we can use the scenario outline, right, given, when, then condition, attend, burn conditions. And in case we want to kind of parameterize the scenario, right, we can use scenario outline, and in the example we can use the tabular format, which will be the kind of variation of the data, okay. And we can use the tags. So I will cover in the tag in the later section. So let's discuss on today like how we can use scenario outline and example, right. So scenario includes all possible circumstances of the features and test kit for these circumstances. The keyword scenario represent a scenario in Jekyll language. One feature can have multiple scenario, and each scenario consists of one or more steps. So if you go to the Google search features file, you can see this is the features is there, right, and here background definitely is for common state, and there are multiple scenario. For each and every scenario is having given, when, and then condition, right? So similar way, we already created a features file, right, where we can just remove the tag here. Okay, and just we will be having let's create one scenario here, remove the tag. So this is the feature. Suppose I want to check whether the Facebook site are we able to log in successfully. So scenario, I mean the features is like Facebook login. That is the features, and then we can have scenario, right? So let's create a scenario here. So scenario is, suppose that we want to check login functionality for the Facebook site. So that is my scenario. So here definitely we need to give the given condition first, right? Given. So what is the given condition? Given is that user navigate to the Facebook login page already. Login to the Facebook home page. So that is the given condition. And when I can give here user enter, suppose say user name 1 as username and password 1 as password. Okay, so that is the when condition. And then what happened, the login should be successful in case it is valid. Login should be successful, right? So this is one scenario. Similar way, I can create multiple scenario, right? So the scenario will be same. I want to check the login functionality for the Facebook site, given, right, Facebook page open, where I can enter instead of username 1, right, I can check username 2 and password 1 as password. So here it will be unsuccessful, right? Unsuccessful instead of successful. Now again if I change it to username 2 and password 2, right, again it might be successful. So that is the different thing we can do it. So you can see here, right, we have changed only the username and the password and the status of the page, right, status of the successfulness, whether it's successful or unsuccessful. So login should be successful, or maybe we can add few things, column code Facebook. Similar way, that part also you can add it for the other scenario as well. So we have written 3 scenario here, where we are just changing, right, the login name. This is the login name, we are changing it, right, and this is the status, we are changing it, successful or unsuccessful. So here, instead of writing so many times, right, that the condition, we can do some sort of kind of maybe we can do some sort of parameterization, right? So that instead of writing so many lines, we'll be writing only one scenario, and then whatever is getting changes we can parameterize. Then how we can do this thing? So Cucumber scenario outline in Jarkin based on Jarkin reference, the scenario outline keyword can be used to repeat the same step with different values or argument being passed to the step definition. This is helpful if user want to test multiple argument in the same scenario. When user use the scenario outline, user wants their scenario outline to describe behavior or example that are important to the business, not detail every boundary or test cases. Adding too many rows simply create more work and obscure where the values is to the business. So all scenario outlines are followed by example, right? So in case if you do not want to give the common part, right, you need to change some of the scenario to scenario outline, and whatever will be, right, parameterized value will be there, you need to give in the that sign, right, that code, and this is your value, and that sign will be there. So you can see this is changing to some different color because this is the parameterization we are doing it. So whenever you are using the outline keyword, you need to use example where this is the parameter value, sorry, parameter name, and corresponding the value should be there. Okay, so that's why we can use the scenario outline as well as the example. Okay, so all scenario outline are followed by example part that contains the set of data that has to be passed during the execution of the test. Pipe symbol is used to specify one or more parameter value in the features file. In a single execution, scenario is executed only once, whereas scenario outline for similar data trace can be executed multiple times depending upon the data provided as an example. So, okay, so now let's just cut paste this part. Okay, I will simply return 3 scenario here. Okay, where you can see there are so many lines, right? Scenario is the common, given part is common, when part and then part is also common for the other scenario, but we are just changing the username and password value every time, right? Username and password value, and we are changing the status of the, right, whether this we are able to successfully log into the Facebook page or not. So that's why we are doing it, right? Now if you want to run your code, right, with the help of cucumber feature, let's just try to run it, cucumber feature. Okay, so you need to select the relevant features here. No, it is yeah, it is running here correctly, you can see here. So scenario, you can see this is the one scenario, this is the given, when and then condition. For the scenario 2, right, given, when and then condition, username 2, password 1, and it is unsuccessful. For the scenario 3 also it is giving username 2 and scenario it is coming successful. So we have written, and definitely the 3 scenario all step are undefined because we did not implemented any kind of method here, sorry, any kind of method, right? So we need to implement those methods. So let's forget about this part. So okay, then my question is that how, instead of writing so many scenario where we can do the parameters, how can we do it, right? So let's again paste the same thing, right? So here, instead of, let's remove the other 2 scenario, or let's keep it for now. How can you implement? Let's see here. So here we can change the scenario in the scenario outline. So this is the common scenario, right? And here I want to parameterize that part will be still common, given part is still common, right? I do not want to change it. When part it will be, right, I need to do some parameterization, right? So here when part, what is the parameterization? This is the parameterization, username 2, right? So this is the parameterization. So you can just do the parameter with that sign. So here instead of username 2 or 3 like that, you can give it some sort of username only, all are lowercase, you can give it username, where you can do the parameter. Similarly for the password field, you can just do the parameterization called password, right? So that is the way you can do it. And the last one, whether it will be successful or unsuccessful, you can just parameterize with name of called status, right? So it will be successful or unsuccessful. Okay, so that is the thing I am parameterizing. Then whatever row you need to cover it out, right, where you need to give the field name. First row will be your field which you want to parameterize, right? So username, second one is the password, and third one is the status. So these are the 3 field I want to parameterize, right? Now you want to change it, right? So username, suppose say username 1, so password I am giving it password 1, password 1. So what will be my status? So in case I am giving it, my status will be successful, right? So that's why you can give with the pipe separator sign, right? Now instead of username 1, I'll be giving it username 2, right, and password I can give it to password 1. So definitely it will be unsuccessful, right? Whatever scenario we have written it, so similar way I will be writing it, so it will be unsuccessful. I am changing it to unsuccessful. So we are not adding any new step. Instead of that, the whatever step we have written, we are trying to parameterize, right, the same step. So this is my first scenario where I am giving username 1 and password 1, right, and it should be successful, right? So same way username 1, password 1 and successful. The next scenario is username 2 and password 2 in username 2 and password 1, right, it will be unsuccessful. So the two scenario already implemented. The last scenario will be implementing it now. We can copy the line and we can paste it in another line, right? So it will be, so what is the thing? Username 2 and password 2. So username 2 and password 2, it will be successful. Okay. So I have just whatever 3 line we have written, we can cover it only 1 line, right? So we can remove this thing. Okay. So it will be only 1 scenario, right? Where instead of scenario we are using scenario outline, means that scenario some of the steps has been parameterized. In case you are parameterize 1 step also, you need to use that outline keyword, right, along with scenario. And as and when you are parameterize something, how can you parameterize? With the help of examples, which is the keyword features from the BDD, or sorry, it is coming from the Cucumber. The features, example and the outlines, these are the syntax is coming from the Cucumber, right? So given, when and then, so anywhere we can do the parameterization. So given the user log into the Facebook homepage, so this line there is no point of parameterization, but what we are changing? We are changing the username and password so that we can parameterize, right? So this is the to field. So as a row, as a first row or header, you need to give the variables which you want to parameterize, right, in the example. Then in the then conditions, right, we are parameterizing the status. So based on the username and password whatever you are giving, right, in the Facebook homepage, so based on that status will be login will be successful or unsuccessful. So this is the status we are parameterizing. Now, so whatever scenario you want to do, right, with different permutation combination, suppose scenario, suppose 5 times, 6 times, you need to just create so many rows. So each of the, it will differentiate with the 5 separator, right? So username 1, this is the username 1, it will go here, the password 1 will go with the password 1 here, and status for the first combination is successful. For the second combination, username 2 and password 1, it will be unsuccessful. For the third condition, username 2, password 2, it will be successful. So what in case if you want to unsuccessful, you can do it. So now instead of writing so many times, right, we can easily, with the help of scenario outline example, we can just parameterize the thing whatever we want to just vary with the different set of data. Okay. If you now want to add one more column, or sorry, one more combination, right, you can simply add it here. So that is the beauty. Without creating one more scenario, just you will be changing in the example, right? So that will consider as a data. So again, it might be unsuccessful, right? So that's why you can just create multiple scenario with the help of scenario outline and the example features available in the Cucumber. Now let's try to run your code, right? So run as Cucumber feature. So you can see here, so now it will be 12 step, right? Because it will consider 4 scenario. Okay. If you go down here, you can see here it is 12 step, 8 skips, 4 undefined, right, 4 scenario. Because the first one is the header where it will go the, right, which you are varying it, or the field through which you want to parameterize. This is the first part. So this is the one condition set, 2 set, 3 set and 4 set, right? So based on the 4 set, so 3 into 4 is 12 number of lines. So 12 number of steps you can see. And here if you go to the scenario, right, how many times it's executed, you can see scenario outline, right, to check the functionality of the Facebook page. From where it is coming in the features file, then the facebook.login feature. Given user login to the Facebook homepage, right, when user enters username 1 and password 1, right, this is the first condition, first set of data, the status should be successful. So now if you go to the second scenario, you can see the user enter username 2 and password 1. This is the second set of scenario and should be unsuccessful. This is unsuccessful. Now if you go to the third scenario, right, here username 2 and password 2 we are giving it and it should be successful, right. So it is successful. Now another scenario got created, right. You can see here the username 2 and password 3, so it should be unsuccessful. So here it's unsuccessful. So that's why, right, we are creating, right, so many scenario from the single scenario with the help of scenario outline and the examples, right. So now you can see all the undefined steps. There are undefined steps. So 4 scenario, 4 undefined step, right, 8 has been skipped. Now we can implement all the undefined step, right. Where we can implement it, whatever step definition class we have created, right, in the step definition packages, we can just copy the line of code and we can implement it. Let's just use all the lines and simply copy it and then paste in the same file, step definition file, or you can create another step definition file. It does not have any problem. So we'll be creating another class here which will be Facebook login validation. Okay, this is the Java class. We can create it. Okay, so this is the class we are creating it, and we can paste all the undefined steps and we can remove that part for all the method, whatever we want to implement it, whatever undefined steps or method, right. So we will be removing that part. We can remove that part and we need to import, right, the given, when and then from the Cucumber file. So we'll be removing that one. So either you can create another classes in the step definition packages, or you can just use the same thing, right, in the same classes. Okay, so that will not have any problem. Now let's try to import the, right, given from the io.cucumber.java.en packages from the Cucumber features, right, then when and then, so that it will be green. Okay, now you can save it. Now, so whatever undefined step was there, we have implemented them, right. We have defined them in the new class called Facebook login validation.java class. Now if you want to run it again from the Facebook login, right, you can run as with the help of Cucumber features. So you can see here now all the scenario has been passed, right. 4 scenario has been passed, 12 steps has been passed. Now, right, the 4 scenario got executed with the different permutation combination of data and username and password, and as well as the status is coming based on that, right. So that's why, right, instead of writing the scenario, right, multiple times, we can use the scenario outline where we'll be entering the scenario only one time, and whatever variable, right, data will be varied or data will be parameterized, we'll be adding them with that particular sign, so that color will automatically change. And then in the example section, for the first row, right, it will be header where all the variables will be there, and the second row onward, right, data will be there for each and every iteration. Okay, so here the total number of row is 5, but the first row it will be considered for the header part or the variable part. On the second row onward, it will be considered as a number of iteration. So that is the reason 4 set and 3 step, total it is executing 12 step, right. So that is the beauty of the scenario outline and the example features. Now if you want to run it with the help of runner class, also you can run it, because the step definition, in the step definition folder, right, you have created multiple class where you are defining the undefined step, and in the same features file, right, you are creating the multiple features. So that's why, right, we can create multiple features file as well as multiple step definition class. But if you want to run with the help of test runner class, it does not have any impact. It will still run with the help of JUnit. Let's try to run it with the help of JUnit and let's see what the different thing is coming. So JUnit will give you more features, right. So otherwise from the console output standpoint, there will be no differences. So this is the scenario is running, given when then condition from where it is coming, you can get it. So the scenario is coming from the features file, Facebook login.features file, which is available in the features folder or packages. Then the given condition is coming from the step definition packages, and this is the your class, and this is your method name, right? So similarly for the other scenario, same way it will be coming and executing. And if you go right, and here if you run with the help of JUnit of the runner class, you can see all the other, right, all the other features or all the other step also getting executed, right? Because in the Google search, right, we are having two scenario, right, where we were having 10 step, because the 2 step was given in the background. So 2 step was common for 2 scenario. Apart from that, there was 3 steps was there. So 3 plus 2 equal to 5 into 2 equal to 10 step, right? So here it is, you can see 2 scenario and step 10 step is getting executed. So that's why with the help of runner class, in case there are multiple features file, right, is available, right? So you can run all the features file at the same time. So that is the beauty of the runner class. So if you run with the help of the features file, you can run only specific test scenario from that particular features file. But if you run it with the help of runner class, where you are just providing the steps of the features file packages where multiple features can be present, and the step definition folder of the packages where multiple classes, Java classes available to define the undefined steps, right? Now if you expand the test runner class, you can see this is the 2 features is available here. The first feature is the Facebook login, and second feature is the Google search home page, right? In the Facebook login, you can get 4 scenario, right? So it is running for the 4th time with the 4 different combination, and for the Google search it is 2 scenario. So if you can see here in the Google search, it is 2 scenario 1 and 2. But for the Facebook login features file, right, there were 3 steps, but as we tried to run for 4 iteration with the help of examples, right, you can see this 4 scenario, right, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so in case the scenario number is common, it will be 1 or 2 like that. So that should be differentiated, because we have given the scenario name is same. But you can see whenever it is generating in the report, right, you can see to check login functionality for the Facebook site #1, #2, #3 and #4. So that's why you can definitely differentiate that number of scenario has been executed with the different data combination. Okay, so that's the different implementation we can do it with the help of scenario outline an example in Cucumber. So in the particular project, right, you can create first, you need to create the features packages, and in the features packages you can create multiple features file, and similarly in the step definition packages as well, you can create multiple class where you can define the undefined steps whatever is available as part of your features file. And then you can create a runner class through which you can just provide the path, right? You can just provide the path of the features file in the feature section, and in the glue sections, right, you can just provide the path of the step definitions classes, right? This is the path, this is the package path, you just need to provide it, right? And the plugin equal to pretty monochrome equal to. After that, if you want to run all the features in the same time, so you need to run with the help of runner class. So that is the beauty of the runner class. Just in the test ng, right, you can create multiple test ng class, and if you want to run each and every class, you can run it with the help of test ng test. But if you create a testng.xml file with the help of testng XML file, you can provide the path of multiple packages in the classes, and at the same time whatever packages or whatever class you want to execute from the same project, you can do it. Similarly, with the help of runner class, right, there is a provision to run multiple feature files at the same time. Okay, so now if you want to include multiple scenario in the same features file, so you need to use a scenario outline and the example part. In the scenario outline section, whatever thing you want to parameterize, right, in the given, when and then condition, you need to give within that particular sign, right? And in the example section, you need to give that variable name first, and after that you need to create the different row or records for how many iterations you want to run it, and that will be separated with the help of pipe, right? Pipe separator. Okay, pipe symbol will be used. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Thank you.